Yeah. For those who don't know, first of all, hello to everyone. But we were just figuring out things for the podcast recording just before this session because this is our official sort of episode one of AI Hub podcast. And my name is Amir. Uh, I'm one of the co-founders of AI Hub. We're going to explain what AI Hub actually is. This is Mo. Mo, if you want to introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah, I'm the other half of AI Hub here. And yeah, we'll be talking about AI Hub, what's it about, and in general talking about AI topics in this podcast, and hopefully having some guests over in the future podcast episodes.
Cool. So, what do you reckon? Should we start by talking about AI Hub in general? Yeah, telling everyone what AI Hub actually is. Do you want to start talking about AI Hub?
Yeah, I can. Um, what is AI Hub? Me and Amir, we have been working on a new platform, a social media platform um, for AI generative images, and we want to. We are creating a community over there, so that the AI artists can have a place to showcase their different artwork, their different design, and create a social imprint for themselves so that they can share all the stuff that they have, not necessarily from one platform, but is a multi-platform social imprint from the individual, the AI artist. So as you have seen in the past, is it 1 year now? I think it's becoming 1 year since Mid Journey is out. There's a lot of tools out there, text prompt to AI generative platforms such as Midjourney, DALI, Stable Diffusion, and we're bringing all of those together in one place so that the AI artists can showcase whatever tool they're using, whatever platform they're using. It doesn't matter. They can bring it all in one place to showcase their skills and showcase their art. So yeah, do you want to add anything to that, Amir?
Yeah. Uh, thanks for an intro, and sorry for my voice, by the way. I'm just recovering from something really weird like COVID, but it wasn't COVID. So I don't know what it was, but it's pretty horrible. So apologies for that. Um, yeah, so as you said, AI Hub is a platform, is a community platform for designers who are interested in AI, and not just designers, anyone who really has a sense for design and is interested in design. It's a platform, but it does other things as well. For example, this podcast. But the whole mission of AI Hub is to basically help designers and design enthusiasts to implement AI in their workflow. We've seen from last year where you know tools like Midjourney, as you said, came about. There has been a significant increase in using AI in kind of design practices by individuals or by businesses and companies. People are using AI to make their workflows much more efficient and much more creative. I've been using AI. I've been teaching designers how to use AI for the past year or so, and I've been also involved in projects, in real life projects that we've used AI for. And I kind of know that my colleagues are extensively, looking into using AI. But anyway, I think AI Hub generally, as we said, um, it's a company which is trying to build a community of AI enthusiasts and designers and artists in one place. We have a platform which we haven't launched at the time of recording of this podcast, We would like to launch it very soon in the near future. But basically, we have a platform where you can browse images that are generated via AI through different AI diffusion models. For example, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, Dolly, and things like that. So you have one kind of search engine that can search in all of those platforms for you, and you can basically create your own profile and have a kind of online presence for your kind of AI work, or sharing the AI work that you kind of like, similar to how you do this in Pinterest with the images that you kind of like, and you share it with the world. So that's more or less the AI hub. In terms of podcast, I think me and Mo here are trying to every 2 weeks we're trying to release an episode where we talk about the news about the world of AI, in design, in marketing, in things, in kind of industries that are relevant to us. And we're going to bring very interesting people, very talented individuals who are using AI in their everyday work and in their amazing art, which they produce. So I'm really, really excited to talk to all of those individuals and talk about how we could use AI in different ways, and in different sort of cases in design and other things that are relevant. So that's generally it. Did I miss anything?
No, that's a great explanation. I think you did better explanation AI hub than me, but yeah, all good. So
As
Amir, I
always.
think oh,
As
okay,
always.
that's questionable. But yeah, it will be good, Amir, to maybe go through for the audience on why we started AI Hub and why are we here, basically. So yeah, do you want to go through that a little bit on what got you introduced to AI and what got you into focusing on creating the AI Hub platform?
Yeah, sure. I think it was last year that we started to see, text to image tools like Midjourney really taking off. And as an architect by training and by education, I was really interested in the kind of use cases in architecture for AI, in practice, like how we could use AI in our projects, in our client meetings, to briefly demonstrate some ideas, some very abstract ideas. At the time, Midjourney was only able to produce abstract stuff. And in a matter of like few months now, in April 2023, we can produce super realistic, hyper realistic, very detailed images in platforms like Midjourney. So that was the starting point, and we were really excited to see these kind of very abstract images in low res. um, but it was the idea of explaining something and then seeing some pixelated graphics of it being generated for you in a matter of seconds. That was like fascinating. And fast forward to now, where you have the same sort of model enhanced in a way that can produce a very high quality, almost identical to a real picture, or like at least a very high quality render of a concept that you're explaining in a matter of seconds, even shorter than before. Um, it's just like it's just so um, so radical and mad. It's just unbelievable. But obviously, there are limitations. Obviously, there are risks, and so many downsides of using AI as well, which as
Yeah.
designer you have to know. Otherwise, you might fall into the trap of not really thinking about your concept and your design and really kind of outsourcing your whole design or job to someone else, to a robot, which is the thing that you don't want to do. And in the workshops that I do, I always try to emphasize on this point that as a designer you still have this currency within you that is all about what goes on in your brain and your ability to think about an abstract concept, bring it into a kind of tangible concept, and sort of do problem solving and all of that. As a designer, you're capable, you're trained to be capable of doing that. So that's that seat is still reserved for you, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't replace yourself with a robot. So you have to be very careful how you kind of leverage AI in what kind of ways. So yeah, that's how I got into AI. So what is your
Fantastic.
background? Like, where are you coming from? Tell us more.
Yeah, yeah. Before I go there, I was just gonna ask a question and a comment. And this is fascinating to see Midjourney go from version 1 to version 5 now, and is becoming super realistic outputs regarding images and everything. I think a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's AI. Is it going to take over?" Especially in the design side of the industries. But the key factor, I think, is I think you touched on it as well, Amir, is creativity. Um, AI is not as creative as humans are right now. It cannot create new concepts to that level, but we are using AI tools right now to enhance our process to develop a idea and create a concept quicker than previous times. Maybe before you had to go and use Photoshop or another tool to slowly edit, put some images together, but now you can just like write out your idea in a text and it'll throw out a few different images. Still, you have to modify and use your creative side. So yeah, that was my comment. Where I'm coming from, so I'm not in the design industry. I come from the tech industry actually. And I work with a lot of the software development teams and different organizations, from banks to media companies to startups. So that's sort of my background. And as a day-to-day profession, I am an agile coach. Normally, agile coaches focus on working with teams, organizations to improve their processes, improve their environments, and coach them on agile best practices and the methodology and any framework that goes underneath agile. So that's sort of my background, where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from a design background, but I do see value, and I think it makes sense to mix it up, co-founding a new platform. So to have that other perspective as well, not just the design perspective, but other perspective, as maybe you're enthusiast about design concepts and want to play around with these kind of generative images, but you're not a designer. So I think I come from the other category.
Yeah, I think where I see you relevant and where you see yourself relevant is, first of all, I mean, me and you tried different things together beforehand, so we have like a history of trial and errors
Of
together,
course, yeah.
and like exploring different realms and different things when we were in uni, and after that, and we know each other since high school, right?
Oh,
So
it's been a
that's a
while.
background. And I think where you're coming from an industry that you're trying as an agile person, as an agile consultant or as an agile coach, you're trying to make processes much more efficient. You're trying to make everything much smoother in like large corporate companies. I
Yep.
think where you saw the value was that, how could this AI thing make so much of our processes much more efficient in design industry, which is like a an industry with lots and lots of inefficiencies that we have been just carrying throughout these all of these years, and we just didn't really want it to change, I guess. And now something is coming that can radically change the whole industry in terms of agile and in terms of efficiency.
That's
So how do you see your expertise coming to play in this context and in this sort of set?
so yeah. As I work with software development teams and product teams, I think one of the things here with AI Hub is I am on the tech side and product development side of things. But regarding efficiency, so within Agile, we have something called Lean. And what this is all about is if you have, let's say, 5 steps that you need to take to complete a task, I would go in as an expert, evaluate what those tasks are from any different layer. It could be team, could be organizational, whichever layer within organization. And we'll look at it and see, can we reduce this 5 steps to complete this task to 3? Can we reduce it to 2? So I think AI here, um, it's going to help in that process of reducing the number of steps that you need to take to come out with a concrete idea that you can showcase to the outside world, that you can communicate that idea out. Is it won't be a half broken draft idea that you might be sketching, but there's no color to it, or there's no emotions or no context to it. You can complete that idea on what you have with AI and send it out faster to get feedback, to get reviews, and to just create that profile for yourself in the AI world as well.
Yeah, I think, as you also say, one of the things that we need to change in the design industry is how we kind of go through this process of idea to visualization. And traditionally, we like to showcase things to our client in a sketch level first, which makes sense because when you show it as a sketch to a client, the client can speculate on the idea, and that is very valuable for us as designers because we don't want to show them something that is, I mean, looks like it's finished and there is no continuation, from that point. So that's why when we have an idea, we try to communicate the idea via sketching, and then even if we have like a 3D model, we don't sometimes show the 3D model first. We try to sketch over the 3D model so that it looks sketchy.
Mhm.
But I guess like with the AI coming to play in this, we need to kind of change our approach. I don't mean that we need to suddenly show them like a render, but with with the kind of new tools that are emerging, for example, Adobe Firefly, new features that Adobe Firefly is offering, is kind of offering us different styles as well. So, for example, I can see that in the near future, you can describe something and see it as a render style as well as a sketch style at the same time. And that's really valuable because you don't want to show the client that kind of high quality render kind of finished product thing. you kind of want to show the client this sketch idea, and that is still viable to do with AI. For example, with the tools like Adobe Firefly in the near future, at the same time as you can have both kind of outputs, one like a render and one like a sketch. So that kind of really makes your whole process much easier. So you can decide what kind of, you know, visualization you want to show your client to communicate this idea better. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's
But
I think what's going to happen.
yeah, can just want to add something there. So you talked about the render side of things. I do think so, at least in the product world, when you get the idea out and show how it's how your product is functioning, how it looked like, and everything, um, the end user, the client that you're working with, gets a better feel of where they want to go next. And I do see that even you talked about the render step as well, of taking something and maybe not showing that straight away. You just show the sketch. Um, I think why not? You can go end to end with using AI tools and show a first iteration of a render to get a more powerful feedback towards your work.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what kind of, you know, um, ways of communicating ideas people have. I think people might decide that, yeah, maybe they want to change their approach. And instead of showing people sketches, showing clients sketches, straight away they go to, this is going to be very much similar to your end product. So therefore I'm going to show you this, and if you have any comments, make it on this image, which is very realistic. I think we're going to change, as you say, yeah, we're going to change approaches as well. So people are going to adapt to these kind of nuances of these AI platforms as well. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to talk to people who are actually using a different, in a different way than me, so I could kind of understand what is their perspective. But I can see people also employing hybrid methods of both using AI as well as using their hand sketches, which is interesting. So they even, I saw one kind of example of an artist using a sketch of something that they kind of sketched on the paper and turned it into a reality, a kind of not a reality, but like a very real looking image of the product via AI, which was very
Yeah.
very interesting. Because if you think about the whole process of modeling that, it was an armchair. If you imagine the process of going through modeling this armchair, rendering it, and kind of making adjustments and things like that, that's going to take few days at least, if not weeks. And then seeing how easy you could turn this into a final product looking image straight away from sketch, bringing in the sketch into AI, it's really powerful. So yeah.
It is. I think that this is impacting as well the product development process as well. So we have like UX UI design, which is user experience, and they use Adobe XD or Figma to design, the layouts of how mobile applications will be, how the interaction will be, or for the web application itself. And with Adobe Firefly, and there are other tools as well, um, you can actually write some text and it will generate for you a mock-up of a whole app, or it will create your idea and put even like a template or fake type of images generated by AI, just as a placeholder to start with, or maybe you can use it as well as your choice. um, and that's another thing as well, right? It's not just as we said, the architecture, well, that's is it going to impact the tech side quite a bit as well, especially developing mobile and web apps. And I'm seeing a lot of new websites that are coming out that they keep on like having this kind of process of, yeah, tell me what kind of website you want, da da da, text right out. I want an app to do X, Y, and Z, and then it's created instantly or just in a few minutes, which is fascinating. I do fear a little bit on a few aspects though. A lot of things right now, at least, I think will become more generic depending on the models that they're using to create these mock-ups. So I do see a space that for the models, for the data used to train these AI, that can become a little bit more unique for individuals or for individual companies, and in general more companies, especially design companies, will go towards creating their own data set for those models to train, and to still have that a little bit of sprinkle or creativity from their side inputted into the design that's created for the end user or the client. So it's I think that's what's going to happen, at least in the web and apps world for mobile websites and everything. But it will be interesting to see how the industry will react and if they truly will do something like this. But we are becoming more and more a data focused and driven industry. We were already, but it's even becoming more. And AI, I think, is going to push us even further to follow the data.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a really really interesting point about companies having their own kind of models, and I think that's very true because um, very similar to how large kind of financial companies, these kind of big ones have their own trading algorithm in a way. I think design companies, they also gonna have their own diffusion model algorithm and build for themselves. Not the small ones though. I think that only the big ones, because I think companies like Adobe and Midjourney and sort of these generic AI diffusion models are going to be very customizable in the near future, so that these smaller companies can also get a lot from using softwares like Adobe Firefly. But those big ones, those kind of large corporate companies, design companies, in order for them to be still unique in the game, they have the money, so they're going to be obviously developing their own diffusion models, or at least like using any of these kind of existing algorithms and fine tuning the algorithm, the kind of model, on their own data set, which only produces a certain result
Yeah,
within their kind of style and their specific niche. So that's what's gonna happen probably in the near future. So I can see, for designers who are listening to this and who know coding, I mean, you guys want to go to ring the bell of one of these kind of large corporate companies, and maybe tell them that you can do this for them, and there are big bucks waiting for you. So yeah, that's
yeah,
a job opportunity. And also, speaking
yeah,
of jobs, let's talk about if AI is going to replace people, because you talked about these kind of website builders or UI UX kind of AI design stuff. Let me tell you my perspective. I don't think AI is going to replace humans anytime soon, in terms of the design industry at least. And why do I say that is because um, you know, previously you used to hire a graphic designer to design a logo, for example. If you come and say now you can use Adobe Firefly to design the logo, I would say yeah, of course. you could do it for sure, but the time that you're gonna spend on Adobe Firefly, designing something that you really are satisfied with, um, for you as a non-specialist, as a non-designer, it takes 10 times more than a designer who knows how to use AI and who knows what good design is. So you can still go ahead, spend more time and design it using Adobe Firefly. But as a non designer, you're not going to know if this is good design or not, unless you just want something very kind of generic that you don't really care about as much.
Mm,
But if this is like your company and this is very valuable to you and it's going to be on top of the kind of letters everywhere of a company of millions of pounds, then you're going to hire a designer who knows how to use AI, and they're gonna know what a good design is, and they're gonna be much more creative and much more efficient using AI. So I don't think uh, designers would be replaced by AI straight away. Designers are gonna still be there, but they're gonna upskill themselves, and they have to learn new skills. They have to learn AI and how to incorporate it in their workflows in order to
mm,
survive. Because if they don't, people who use AI will replace them. So you're not gonna forget about designers and don't give them jobs. You're still gonna go to them because they know design, they know good design, and they know how to design. And what you're gonna do is to go to designers who are much more efficient and who are much more creative. So you're gonna go to designers who know how to use AI. So if you're a designer, your advantage point in the near future would be that you know how to use AI because that's your selling point. You're not going to be replaced by AI itself. AI is only a tool and needs direction from you as a designer. But it's you that has to learn how to control AI and has to learn how to design with AI as a designer. So yeah, you're not
yeah.
going to be replaced.
It's like an enhancement of your current capability of doing something, right? For the designer. So an extra hand holding multiple items or multiple things. That's how I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
think about it. It's a good point about like you made about the logo creation and everything. There's a lot more to logo creation. It's not just you would click a button, and I know again for logos as well, sites and platforms do exist that generate a full on design kit for you for social media and everything. um, but there's more to that. And one of the key things with logo creation is brand identity. With that, you do need to go and talk with your client and customer. What do they want? What is their vision? What is their mission? What do they want to be known for? There's a lot more to it, and AI is not fully there yet, at least, to be able to do that. So yeah, not anytime soon. But of course, we'll revisit this
I mean,
topic.
if you're a shit designer, I mean, let's be honest, if you're a shit designer who only is good at using a software and not using their brain, I think you're going to be replaced for sure, because like AI is very good at using, you know, in producing graphics and things like that. So if you're a designer who is only good at working with a particular software and not really using your brain, if you combine those skills of being a designer, meaning that you use your brain, in combined with your skills of using a particular software, that's the value that you have. But otherwise, if you're only good at if you are just an operator behind the software, AI is going to replace you for sure. All of these tools that you're saying, like all these kind of logo creations, they're going to be extended to all different things, graphic design, like architecture. So if you're in any field as a designer and you're only good at, working with a particular software and not really being the real designer and just being good at softwares, you're very likely to be replaced. So I think, as we see these kind of developments of AI happening in the near future, we also see more and more of, jobs that require you to think, to be much more, sort of, enhanced and given room, and, sort of, I don't know, like, much
Creative.
more valued than, yeah,
Mm,
much more valued than the jobs that are just, manual labor, or like, manual labor doesn't need
mm,
to be carrying something. It could be basically manually, as I said, like, just knowing a software and just like, making a living out of, for example, CAD drawings, out of drafting. I mean, that's gonna for sure be replaced by a robot very soon, because that doesn't require so much of creativity and thinking and thoughtfulness. Um, so yeah, yeah, brain in this equation is very important. If you have a job that requires you to think and to analyze and to do things like that, I think you're less likely to be replaced by AI than, other people.
that's a great point. Um,
By the way, I just want to
and
say no offense to people who are good at the software. By the way, I just say
yeah,
that, beware, because you're gonna be replaced very soon. And yeah, I'm not joking. You literally gonna be replaced very soon if you don't skill up, if you don't, um, become the real designer.
yeah, yeah, upskill or be gone.
Yeah,
They say, but no, yeah, you have time still. So, um, yeah, that's a great point regarding the mundane tasks that will be, I think, reduced for the humans in any industry to do in the future. So AI is going to reduce the mundane tasks, hopefully for the better, to allow people to focus on the creativity side and the thinking side of things to create new thoughts and ideas. So that step is always going to stay, at least in the near future, with humans. But the execution and implementation of the idea, that part is where I think AI comes in and helps you become more efficient and faster, so that you can go and iterate through that idea quickly, getting a great result. So I think you touched on one point here. It's upskilling in AI. So how do you see this work out in the future industries? Will this become like a job requirement or something like that? I'm thinking yes. But yeah, it would be great to know your thoughts, Amir, on this, on AI skill sets and how it would be in the future.
yeah. I don't know. It's a great question. I think definitely there would be requirements very soon of, people knowing how to work with AI. But I don't think, like, generally there's a good understanding of, the capabilities of AI in the industry yet. So I think so many, companies are still alien to the benefits of AI, and, they are either completely ignorant, or, they are kind of not sure about it, at least, just to say,
Mm,
or they completely just reject it. um, so I think once they realize, there are also goods, in using AI as well, I think they're gonna start hiring people based on their skill sets of, being able to use AI as well. And that's what AI Hub is also gonna help designers in that aspect by showing their people who have the skill sets opportunities, very exciting opportunities to work in a design industry in particular companies that are eager to take on board people who know how to use AI. I myself have done collaborations with some brands, which were really really interesting, and were basically great experiences. So I look forward to see more of these opportunities become available to the wider community of designers who are using AI. And at AI Hub, we try our best to connect people, to connect designers to design businesses who need the skill set. So I think for sure there will be requirements very soon. And in AI Hub, we're also going to help people to work in exciting job opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. You touched on another great point regarding helping the design industry and people going into the AI side of things. And I think it's a great time to mention that within our AI Hub community as well that we are building, we will be doing focused industry level workshops to help new people coming into AI, using AI, how they can really optimize the usage of it for their own use cases and their own jobs. So that's coming in soon. Uh, we will be doing workshops on that. And yeah, looking forward to that, to sharing more knowledge with everyone out there.
Yeah, I think the other thing, as you say, that AI Hub is focused on is trying to upskill people in different industries, in different design industries. And for that, what we are doing is basically to host a series of workshops in different design categories, such as architecture, fashion,
Yeah.
product marketing, all of that, so that people in different design industries understand the kind of case study, the use cases of using AI in their specific niche market, and they try to adopt it in their workflow. Because what I've seen from my workshops is that so many people, after the workshops, have started using AI in larger scale in their practices. So some people were practice owners, business owners, and they started to optimize, AI in their design practice. What did you drop?
Yeah, it was a pen on the table. Sorry about that.
It's
So
completely
yeah,
normal in AI Hub podcast.
yeah, that's it.
We don't
That's
know.
it.
We don't know what's gonna happen.
No, yeah, I think the pen was quite close to the edge of the table. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty
it
good.
was just talked about workshops. If you're distracted,
Yeah, I just lost my train of thought for a second. Um.
yeah. So
Yeah.
workshops,
So
and then you tell me, um, what do you think is gonna be the next steps of AI Hub for those who are listening? I mean, I don't know. People are. I mean, they're still probably not very familiar with the AI Hub in general, but um, what do you see the value of AI Hub for people who are listening to it, to the AI Hub podcast?
yeah. So I think the key element here is, as we talked about, is community. Creating that strong community is our number one priority for people that are interested, AI enthusiasts, um, in the design industry or not. We don't discriminate. Um, but if you're AI enthusiast, you're welcome. Please come. But regarding next plans and next steps, One is we want to bring out our platform for everyone to use to uh, be able to create their own social imprints regarding AI work that they're doing, and be able to see other people's work and with accessible search engine and a database there. So that's one side of what we're doing. Another side, as you said, Amir, is we want to train new people to AI. So we'll be doing series of workshops to upskill and train individuals from the different industries regarding AI. And the third point, I would say, is the community side. So we want you to come in and talk with other individuals in the community regarding AI, learn what's happening in the different sectors, and share what you are experiencing. So most people I've worked with in our organizations, one of the number one things is people are fearing normally the change that happens within industries, within their jobs. If it's anything changes, there's a fear factor. And I think one of the good things about AI Hub and the community we're creating is we want to go on that journey together. Yes, it might be scary a little bit in the beginning because there's a lot of unknowns, but let's come together within our community and work together to create the future of our industries.
Wow. Yeah, that was a um, election sort of speech,
Oh
which
yeah,
yeah, really nicely done. Thank you for that. And I don't have anything else to say really. I think I'm looking forward to inviting guests for the next pod. We're gonna have more design discussion and things about relevant fields, and we're gonna discuss what are the kind of workflows that people are currently using in terms of hybrid or only AI in their design work, and how people are finding working with AI so far. I'm gonna share my kind of experiences as well as hearing about other people and asking them about theirs. And yeah, I'm super excited. If you are someone who is an AI artist, designer, AI enthusiast, and you're doing some interesting work and you like to talk to us on the pod, we would love to bring you on. So email us at hello@aihub.ai, and we will get back to you.
for sure. Yeah. And if you are not one of those people that is interested to come on the podcast as well, feel free to throw out ideas and nominate someone. If you know of anyone else that would be interested or you think would be a great guest to hear from, so you can do that as well.
Cool. Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Let's call it today. Thank you everyone for joining the AI Hub podcast. It's great to start this and start talking with all of you. We're looking forward for everyone to join the next podcast episode. We'll be talking about some exciting new topics.
Yeah, it will be cool. Yeah, I'm sure it will be cool. I'm looking towards. Cool. Okay, thanks everyone. See you soon on the next one. Have a good rest of the day.